What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm diving into Wolfman, the latest movie from Leigh Whannell. You probably know him from Upgrade, Insidious Chapter 3, and my personal favorite, The Invisible Man. With a track record like that, I was very curious on how he would actually tackle the Wolfman story. So I saw the movie, I have some thoughts, and before I get into my spoiler-free review, I want to know what you thought of the movie down below in the comments. Give me your takes, let's talk about it. So here's the basic setup for the movie. Blake, who's the main character, is played by Christopher Abbott. Him and his family are living a pretty normal life until one night they're attacked by an unseen animal. And to stay safe, they end up barricading themselves into Blake's old farmhouse where he grew up, while whatever is after them stalks them from outside. But here's the twist: while they're trying to survive, Blake starts acting pretty weird. Not in a I'm stressed out of what's going on right now kind of weird, as in transforming into something kind of weird. So his wife and daughter aren't just dealing with whatever's outside, they're trying to figure out what's going on with Blake inside. It's a super effective setup that just grabs you from the beginning, while there's this tension of them trying to figure out what's going on outside, what is this animal that's trying to kill them, and then what's ever going on inside with Blake and whatever he's turning into. And at first the movie does a great job at balancing these two different threats. You're never sure what's going to get them first, whatever's outside or whatever is starting to happen inside. Now, one of the things that I really appreciated about the movie is that it spent time building up Blake's relationship with his daughter Ginger. The emotional connection between these two characters is exactly what the heart of the movie is, and Christopher Abbott really sells him being a dad perfectly. You really do believe their bond, and it just adds so much weight to the story as it progresses, and you really want Blake to hold on to his humanity for his daughter, and it just makes it more heartbreaking as he starts to transform. On the flip side though, the movie really drops the ball when it comes to Charlotte, who's Blake's wife, played by Julia Garner. Because of the way that she's actually written, it's just hard to root for her and Charlotte's relationship the same way you root for Blake and Charlotte's relationship. It just feels like the movie forgot about her character while focusing so much on the dad-daughter dynamic. And that's just a shame, because Julia Garner has proven time and time again just how talented she is. It's kind of a wasted opportunity here. But now let's talk about the thing you all came here to talk about, the Wolfman. First off, let's talk about the design. I thought it was awesome. It's creepy, it's raw, it's exactly what you would want from a werewolf movie. And for most of the movie, Leigh Whannell takes a less is more approach, and I thought it was super effective. It just showed the creature very sporadically in flashes, and it worked really well for me up to a point. There's this growing tension throughout the movie that you know that something is out there, something is stalking this family, and you can't tell exactly what it looks like. And then they finally show what it looks like, and I thought they did a great job with the practical effects, with the makeup, because you can still see Blake in there, you can still see human features in it, but it's not human. It still looks like a monster, but you can still see the humanity in his eyes, and they just did a great job. Now, I'm sure not everyone's gonna have the same opinion that I had on the Wolfman design. I think it's gonna be pretty controversial, so if you've seen the movie, once again, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. One of the coolest things about the movie is how they actually portray Blake's transformation into the Wolfman. Now, this is where Leigh Whannell got really creative with everything. Instead of just showing Blake sprouting fur, growing claws like the typical normal werewolf transformation, it actually puts you inside of his head. So you see and hear things the way that he does as he's changing. So the voices get distorted of his family, the colors are shifting, and even them themselves, his family, start to look a little different. I just think that was such a great creative risk that Leigh Whannell took with that, and it pays off big time because you get to see the whole transformation from every point of view. You see it from his actual point of view with his family changing and how he sees them, but then you also see it from their point of view of how he's changing. You just get the entire experience, and I don't think I've ever seen that done in a werewolf movie before. And the sound design in this movie was one of my favorite things about it. You got to hear the snarls and the growls of the werewolf as it was chasing them, and it was just so immersive, and I just really thought it was done perfectly. Like during the chase scenes, the loud thumping of his footsteps as he was chasing them just really helped build that tension even more. The sound just added so much to the atmosphere, and combined with some really creative camera work that Leigh Whannell does, it just makes the action feel raw and immediate. Now, as much as I did like the movie, there were a lot of things holding it back from being great. The writing itself gets pretty weak in some places, and there were just a few plot holes as the movie goes on that just really took me out of it. And just as a quick, spoiler-free, this doesn't give away anything to the actual plot of the movie, there's a scene where they leave the house, she doesn't lock the door, you see the entire thing happen, and then they go back the same way that they came, and all of a sudden it's locked and she has to jumble with the keys. We watched it happen. When did someone lock it? And like I said, that was a very small example, but there are bigger things throughout the movie that just pulls you right out of it, because you're sitting there, you're like, that math ain't mathin'. And it's things like that that just keep this movie from being as strong as it could have been. And it's frustrating because the potential was right there, but when the writing just is that weak, the movie just stumbles right behind it. Before I actually got to see Wolfman, I predicted giving it a C+ grade, and that's exactly what I ended up giving it. So bottom line, Wolfman is a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, it has a lot of things going for it. The Wolfman design itself is awesome, the sound and camera work were top notch, and the emotional connection between Blake and his daughter is really well done. But on the other hand, the weak writing, the plot holes, and the underdeveloped characters, especially Charlotte, keep it from being truly great. I'd still recommend checking it out though, because there is still a lot of fun to be had here, and it's way better than your typical January release. Now on my channel, I like to put out polls so you all can grade the movie that we're talking about, and the results are in. The majority of you gave Wolfman a B. Now Wolfman is the first major horror release in 2025, and if this year is gonna be anything like last year, we're gonna get some bangers. And as far as horror content goes, I got tons of videos relating to all things horror. You can check them out right here. But until the next video, everybody, see you later.